begin, you'll need to download and print out the patterns. You're going to need some craft foam. I recommend 5 or 8mm. You'll also need a craft knife or X-Acto knife, scissors, glue. I use a cheap cement glue from a dollar store. Sharpies, and I forgot to show up, but you'll also want some Scotch tape or painter's tape, something that's semi-transparent. Now we're going to start cutting out the patterns. Start with A1 and A2 as we need to combine them, starting with A1. Initially, you're going to cut past the A1 here section, like so, but then cut along the semi-transparent line, like so. For A1, you'll do the same cutting, except this time you'll cut after the A2 here section, like so. Now you will grab a piece of Scotch tape long enough to wrap around the two A pieces. Lay it sticky side up. Then take A1 and place it face up halfway on the tape, like so. Then take A2 and place it on top of A1 so that A2 covers that semi-transparent line and covers the A2 here section, like I'm doing here. Now wrap the rest of the tape over the edges. Now we're going to cut out the 4 triangle markers at the top, bottom, and sides of the combined A piece like so. Now it's time to cut out the other template pieces. Make sure to also cut the triangle markers on the C piece. Now it's time to grab your foam and draw the patterns onto the foam. Make sure to also translate all the markings from the patterns to the foam pieces like so. I goofed up the markings for piece A. Whoops. Now it's time to cut out the pieces, but first. Edges with line markers indicate that you need to cut away from the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an extended face. Edges with dotted guides indicate that you need to cut into the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an inverted face. I always start with a fresh blade and start cutting the extended and indented faces to make sure that they are smooth, so I recommend you do the same. Make sure there is a sharp stop on the extended face of the C pieces like I'm doing here. you need to use scissors to make a clear cut, make sure you do so. Next, take piece A and draw a line down the center using the triangle markers at the top and bottom like so. Use a ruler if possible. Next, draw a line between the two triangle markers near the bottom of piece A, like so. Do the same on each C piece, like so. Now we're going to apply glue on the two C pieces on their outer face. Now we're going to apply glue on the inverted side faces of piece A. Once the glue is ready, start attaching the piece C to piece A, starting at the top, like so. Next, we're going to apply glue on the inner faces and the outer faces of both B pieces like I'm doing here. Once the glue is set, start by bringing the inner faces together like so. Make sure they stick together, so take your time. Now we will attach both B pieces together like I'm doing here. Next, take your combined A piece and cut along the line separating the bottom part from the rest, like I'm doing here. Next, take a ruler and mark a line across this new C piece like so. If you don't have a ruler, mark a line about 2/3 up from the bottom of the piece, like I'm doing here. And then we're going to apply glue to this area. Next, apply glue to the inner face of piece A near the bottom, like so. This is where the C piece is going to go. Once the glue on both pieces is ready, attach the two pieces together. Use both the center lines to make sure that everything is centered. Now we need to glue the entire inside of piece A. Next, take piece D and glue on one of the faces, unless it's a textured piece like mine. Then glue the textured side like I'm doing. Once the glue is set, place piece D inside piece A down the center, starting at the top like I'm showing you here. Next, continue the center Sharpie line down the outer face like so, continuing that center line. This is going to help later on. Next, take piece A and lay it on top of piece B and mark the outline of piece A on piece B like I'm showing you here. Now apply glue within the outline that you just drew on piece B. Also apply glue to the face of piece D on the underside of piece A like I'm doing here. Time to put A and B together. So to start, use the center line drawn on piece A and the center line drawn on piece B to make sure that everything is centered when you're putting it together. As you're putting it down, just do the center face of the two where piece D is. We're going to put the sides down later. Take your time with this. It can be kind of tricky. Once everything is lined up, make sure everything is secure, push down. Then we're going to go ahead and start putting these side pieces down. These side C pieces will be kind of popped out at this point. Just push them back down. The glue will hold them in place. Now, if the shoulder is too wide after all the gluing, just go ahead and grab a heat gun if you have it, or just use your hands like I'm doing. Just push them together and make the shoulder a little bit thinner. And this is the basic shoulder armor piece. You can use this on its own, or you can move on and add either of the next options, the shoulder spike or the shoulder shield. Keep watching for those instructions. Alright, so to make the shoulder spike, we're going to basically redo all the same steps as the other basic shoulder piece. Cut out the pattern, draw it on the foam with all the marks to help with cutting. Cut out the pattern, making sure to cut inwards where indicated and out where indicated. Go back to my cutting tutorial at the beginning of this video if you need a refresher. Once the pieces are cut out, apply glue on the longer inward faces of each piece, like so. Once the glue is set, attach the two pieces together. Next, take your basic shoulder piece and apply glue on these ridges of that piece. Now apply glue on these inward faces as well. Once the glue is set, attach the spike to the basic shoulder like I'm doing here. And just like that, we're done. To make the shoulder shield, we're going to do the same process as the basic shoulder. Cut out the pattern, draw it on the foam with all the marks to help with cutting. Make sure to mark where to cut an extended face and where to cut normal. Now we're going to cut out the pieces starting with the extended face areas. Once the pieces are cut out, apply glue to the faces that I'm doing here. Once the glue is set, attach the two pieces. This is now the shield. Next, we're going to take a ruler and mark off a ruler-thick line across the middle of the shoulder piece like I'm doing here. Apply glue to this marked off area. Then take a ruler and mark a ruler-thick ribbon on the inside face of the shield like I'm doing here, and apply glue to this area. Once the glue is set, attach the shield to the rest of the shoulder piece along the marked areas like so. And there we go. The shield is now done. Hey, so thanks for downloading the template. If you haven't already, go check out my Etsy shop. The link is in the description, or you can search The Freakish Workshop on the Etsy store, and should pop up there, and you can download this template or any of the other templates I have on my shop. So hopefully we'll see you there.